What types of equipment can you get equipment financing for? So in this video, I am going to talk about all the different types of equipment you can get financed, how you can set that up to get the right financing, and what are the qualifications. So let me just tell you a little bit about me. My name is Jonathan Fodera. I'm the owner of Integrated Business Financing, and I have been helping business owners get into financing programs to grow and scale the business for the past 14 years. So let's start off. You can get financing for almost any piece of equipment as long as you meet certain parameters and the piece of equipment meets certain parameters. But I will break it down by the most commonly financed pieces of equipment, and then I'll tell you what's hard to get financed. So first, trucks and trailers, they're very easy to get financing for as long as the truck is on the newer side, meaning it doesn't have crazy high mileage and it's not older than 9 years. So as long as it's 9 years or newer, you should be able to get financing for it. So I'll give you a quick example. One of my clients going on almost 10 years, his name is John. He owns a logistics company in California. When he came to me at first, he started with 3 or 4 trucks. Now he has over 40 trucks, and he's grown his business from doing about $150,000 a month to well over $1 million a month. And his business is doing so well that he has opened several other businesses. And he said to me, if I met you sooner in the process, I would have been way further along. So basically what he does is he comes in, he submits his application, his last 6 months of business bank statements, a tax return, and the invoice for the truck that he wants to get. And if there are several trucks, he might have to submit financials, meaning a profit and loss and a balance sheet. We get it pre-approved, we send him the terms, he signs it, and we get everything done usually in 2 to 5 business days. Now, one thing on that is used trucks. You can finance new trucks, you can finance used trucks, but the used trucks, they have to be in good working order. And they can't be that old, as I mentioned earlier, because nobody wants to finance a piece of equipment that could break down or isn't worth the price that you're buying for it. So when you actually use equipment financing, and this doesn't just go for trucks, it goes for every single type of piece of equipment you can finance, it's actually another good check. Like, hey, am I paying too much for this? Am I getting a good deal on this? Is this piece of equipment worth buying? Like, these are all questions that are really important to have answered, because you don't want to finance a truck or a piece of equipment that could break down or isn't worth the price that you're paying. So the next thing that we always are asked is, can you finance heavy machinery or manufacturing equipment? Absolutely, you can finance both of those. And it works around the same parameters. So if you need a piece of equipment, you just need to get the invoice or the purchase and sale and get that done. Like one of my clients, his name is John, he owned a bottling company. He needed bottle press or a capper, and I think the piece of equipment was like $30,000. That's easy to finance, right? It's better that he finances that piece of equipment than pays cash. Why? If he pays cash for it, he's outlaying a whole $30,000, and that could hurt his cash flow. If he finances it, he can finance it over 3 to 5 years, and that's going to help his cash flow because the monthly payment's going to be very low on that. So he came in, sent everything in, we got the piece of equipment financed, and now his production is way up, his business is growing because it's more streamlined and it's more automated. When you buy a piece of machinery, it should help you increase the efficiency of your business, help your business produce more, and ultimately help your business earn more. That's the whole reason why you're doing it. After Joe came to me, he said, hey, the bank didn't really know what they were doing. I brought this to you. You got it done in 3 days. Thank you so much. And, looking back on it, now every time he needs a new piece of equipment, he just brings the invoice straight to me along with his statements, and we get it done. And his business has grown exponentially because he's always looking for opportunities to grow by getting new equipment, by offering other services. And it just makes the process so much easier when you're using the funds the right way and you get the right type of financing. A lot of people that are paying cash, that's actually going to slow your growth down, right? If you're financing it, 1, the interest you can write off in your business, and 2, you're conserving your cash flow because you're using other people's money to make money. In that situation, it makes a lot of sense. Next, I had a client that came in the auto repair business. Now, auto repair, they don't always get the best terms. And the reason for that is if you're buying from Snap-on or you're buying for one of these distributors, sometimes their terms can be pretty expensive. So I had a client, his name's Justin. He came in, and if it's new equipment, you're typically going to get 5 years. If it's used equipment, you might get 3 to 5 years, maybe 2 to 3 years, depending on how used it is or what the price point is. But he came in and he was opening a larger shop. So he was moving his shop that had 2 bays into a shop that had 5 bays. So he needed 2 more more lifts, he needed a dyno, and I think there was like 2 or 3 other pieces of equipment, and they were all from different vendors. So what he did was he grabbed the invoice, submitted everything to us, and we got it all financed for him. And he did get 5 years to pay, the terms were 5 years, and I think he paid like 9%, right? And what this allowed him to do was, instead of trying to get individual financing options and have multiple different monthly payments, we wrapped it all up into one transaction, and it made it a lot simpler for him. And he said that the rates that we were able to get him were cheaper than if he went and got 5 individual equipment loans from these different vendors. So that helped him a lot. And now, instead of having a 3-bay garage where he was doing about $40,000 to $50,000 every month, he's in his new 5-bay garage, and he is making about $75,000 to $80,000 a month. He basically doubled his business, and he financed it appropriately. What I mean by that is he got the right type of financing instead of getting a cash advance or a line of credit. It wouldn't have made too much sense if he used a cash advance or line of credit, because those are shorter term financing options. So having the 5 years really helped Justin grow and expand his auto repair shop. And again, the whole transaction doesn't take more than 3 to 5 days, especially if you have all your documents prepared. Next, one of our clients is a landscaper, and he needed a Bobcat to help him with some of the larger jobs that he had in landscape design. And Bobcat was very slow to get him back terms. He came to us, I didn't know this at the time, but Bobcat, some of those machines are very expensive. They could be $90,000. Well, we were able to get his job and his equipment financed over 5 years, again, at around that 9% rate. And now he's taking delivery, I believe, this week, and I think his monthly payment is only like $1,500. So now he can get larger jobs and do them quickly and efficiently, so his business is earning more revenue. So if you notice a pattern here, it's using the right types of financing. Now, one of the things I do want to go into is, if you're looking for equipment financing, what are some of the qualifications? You're going to need at least 650 credit in most cases. There are certain times we've gotten equipment financing, like if it was kitchen equipment or restaurant equipment, we've been able to get that done if they have lower credit, but they're really not financing that much. So typically you need 650 credit. If you're a brand new startup business, you need 700 credit, and you need to own a home. That shows them that you're more stable and you're less of a risk. You need to be able to show that the business can afford the payments, meaning, they want to look at your cash flows, they want to look at your tax returns, and they want to look at the invoice. So typically, if it's a piece of equipment over $200,000, you're going to need to show the last 2 years of tax returns and a year-to-date P&L, along with the last 6 months of bank statements, an application, and an invoice. If it's under that, that's kind of like an express type of equipment loan, and all you really need there is your most recent tax return, an application, 6 months bank, and you may or may not need financials, and you always need the invoice of the purchase and sale for the equipment. So it's pretty easy, and it's a quick process to get done. Now, what are some of the pieces of equipment that are hard to get financed? Well, anything that's used or really old or doesn't have any type of resale, like if it's specific to a certain industry, those are harder pieces of equipment to get financing for. But typically, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're trying to buy a piece of equipment and the piece of equipment is over $10,000, or if you have a bunch of pieces of equipment and when you add the totals up for what you have to pay, it's over $15,000, that's pretty easy to get financing for, as long as it makes sense and it's in line with your request. So I just want to go over what we went through today. You can finance almost any type of piece of equipment, right? It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If it's specific to your business, you can finance it. One example is if you own a landscaping company and you're trying to finance a boat through your business, that's not going to fly. It has to be used for the business. Second, you don't want to get pieces of equipment that are too old. They have to hold their value, or they have to be worth at least what you're paying for. And then third, you have to be able to be qualified, meaning you have to have a certain credit type, a certain time in business, certain cash flow that shows that you can afford the payment for that piece of equipment. What are some things that you can do today? Well, one, look around your business and see what pieces of equipment you need. Two, go on creditkarma.com, see where your credit is. If it's over 650 and you have a piece of equipment to buy, please reach out to us at Integrated Business Financing, and we will help you get the best program possible, the best equipment financing possible, so you can buy that piece of equipment and you can start scaling your business. Remember, integrate your business, always look for ways to improve, and if you have questions, reach out to one of our advisors so we can help you. Have a great day.